So the prerequisite to romantic love, let's write that down. Prerequisite to romantic love. And he had 3 of them. And they're very much like the form we just went over. First, he called high self-esteem, which is my way, our way of saying being mostly in your real self. Remember that form that we just talked about. Type 1, real self to real self. Type 2, real self to negative self. Type 3, negative to negative. It's type 3 where most people marry, symbiotically. We'll be talking about that. But always when you look at a page like that, right up there at the top, mostly, because you don't go around the room saying 100% real self, 90-10, 80-20, 70-30, 40. Because there aren't any 100 to zeros. We're mostly, we're self-actualizing. If you were perfect, you wouldn't be here. You'd be in the next life, you lucky bird, right? So real self to real self, put mostly on it. So what Nathaniel Branden is saying really is a type 1 relationship, real self to real self, is a prerequisite for romantic love. You've got to have high self-esteem, and that's a nice way of saying someone who really likes themselves. They're not conceited or arrogant, because that's the negative self-substitute for high self-esteem, conceit and arrogance. High self-esteem means that you're quiet and you're peaceful and you're not monkey brain. Do you guys, do all of you remember the 3 brains? Okay. Lizard brain, monkey brain, and angel brain. The lizard brain, where does the lizard brain get all of his love supplies from? Bodies, his own and others. Where does the monkey brain get his love supplies from? Other sick monkeys, right? People, they're people dependent. They seek the praises of men. Angel brain means love, true love, and God. Those are the thoughts that will build your angel brain. These are the thoughts that will build your monkey brain. These are the thoughts that will build your lizard brain. Okay, high self-esteem means that you like yourself, and you don't go around boasting. You're humble, because as you truly find how beautiful your spirit self is, you also find how beautiful its maker is, and you realize that you can't do anything by yourself. You have to be hooked up to your source. And so you're humble and sweet and kind. You love yourself. You have the confidence. You're in your real self. And you're not a taker. You're a giver. Remember how we drew those full love buckets? 2 full love buckets, sharing from their fullness. That's romantic love. So number 1, high self-esteem means mostly in your real self. And that was one of the prerequisites where most people can't fill that prerequisite. And most people do not have romantic love. They have need, and they call it romantic love. Oh, we're really in love. We are. Let's see you in a couple years. Number 2, he called it visibility. Visibility. Visibility means the real self is visible to you. And if you finish this sentence, I like my real self because she is, and you go 10 times as fast as you can go. I like my real self because he is. And just put down some things. Can you think of some things right now? What would you put? You know, in our sick society, it's not cool to like yourself, and especially to say 10 reasons why. It's conceit and arrogance. But to the real humble person, you've got to like yourself, because humility is not weakness. It's not fear. It's not negative self-concept. I like my real self because, and out will come some things about you. You should be able to do 20 or 30 of these. This is called visibility of your real self. People have talents, people have loves, they have hobbies, they have interests, they have personality traits. It's wonderful. So be able to finish the sentence, I like my real self because. And if you want to bond with somebody else, you also better say, I don't like my negative self because nobody's perfect. I don't like my negative self because. So spew out some of the things that you don't like about your negative, because all of us have negative self-styles. And later on we're going to show that negative self styles have to be known by two soulmates or two mystically bonded people so they can be sure that they're not into a mess, like mutually threatening wounds. And the chapter for this is chapter 8 in your book. Yes.
Well, I think it'd be a good thing for me to share on that list of the I love my real self because and I love my negative self because.
No, I don't love my negative because.
Yeah, right. I did that a few months ago, and the negative self had a lot of traits. I could name all these things: discouraged, depressed, and then I did it just recently, and the real self had a huge list.
Good, because you're starting to like yourself and know more about your real self. And so that's the concept of visibility that many people skip before they get married. And after they live for 3 or 4 months, they say, you didn't tell me you were like this. I didn't know that. Why? Because you didn't do your homework. We didn't need to. We were soulmates. Well, it's the way I make my living. Come in. Negative self-styles as well as real self-styles, visibility, high self-esteem, visibility, and then the third prerequisite was similarity. Now, it doesn't have to mean 100%, but certainly similarity in the big things. Similarity. And I remember reading some of his chapters, and he talked about kinesthetic, audio, and visual. Do all of you know that? Kinesthetic means that you feel stuff in your guts, and you like to feel it in your hands. And little babies especially, they'll go like that and stroke your face. They'll get their blankie and get the really smooth part, and they're kinesthetic. And all of us have kinesthetic. These are the modes that we relate to the outside world with. Kinesthetic means feel, smell, taste. Taste, smell. And audio means how they sound, their voice, their audio person, and visual. Kinesthetic, audio, and visual. And people have one that's higher than the other. And you can map them like this. In fact, if you think about, am I a kinesthetic person, a visual person, or an audio person? And that doesn't mean that that's all you have, because all of us have all three. But which one is the most important to you? Right? So, if I was I'm in Utah, so we'll finish this sentence. You want to help me, Lise? Do you want to help me? Just finish this sentence. You like to go to the mountains?
Yeah.
Okay, just finish this sentence as fast as you can go.
Oh, no.
I like to go to the mountains because. Go ahead.
I like to go to the mountains because it's beautiful, it's awe-inspiring, it's peaceful, it's beautiful. It reminds me of where I grew up, lots of trees, green, peaceful.
Any more? Keep going. Did you do 10?
Did I do 10?
I like to go to the mountains because.
I like to go to the mountains because it's invigorating.
Uh-huh.
Makes my body feel good. Hiking.
You guys getting it? That's good, huh?
Out of practice.
Yeah, you do good. Is she kinesthetic or visual or audio? Some visual and some kinesthetic. Can you tell which ones are which? Okay, Ron, do you want to help me?
Sure.
I like to go to the mountains because. Hold it.
I like to go to the mountains because I get away from the
Escape?
cares of life. Escape. It is beautiful. I like the smells, the pine trees, and the fresh air, and I like the sounds. I love the sound of rivers. I think it's very soothing. I love the mountains because it also reminds me of home. I grew up here in Utah. I like the mountains because it's rugged and it's
Look at his body.
exercise.
Thank you very much. Now see, if you have a guy and a girl that want to get married and you have them finish 10 sentences like that, over there in Oregon, we say the coast. Oh, I want to go to the coast. I want to go to the ocean because. And the girl will say, I love to go to the ocean because you can see so far. And the clouds are lighter on the top than they are on the bottom. And the waves, they're so green, and then suddenly all this white comes curling over, and you can see so far, and you can see people way off, and then in the evening or early morning, the mist comes in, and you can't see anything. And what do we have here? All visual. And you look at how she's dressed. Very careful in her dress. She would clean the furnace in her tuxedo. And she's visual, visual, visual. And in comes this other guy. He dresses for comfort only. He burps. He sits down in a chair. He's eating something. You already know he's going to be kinesthetic. And again, would you like to finish this sentence? I like to go to the ocean because I feel the sand oozing between my toes, and I love to have the surf knock me on my buttocks. And I love to dig in the sand and make sand castles, and I like to run on the beach because it doesn't hurt my legs as much as, and I like the smells. Oh, Dr. Ellsworth, that fishy smell I adore. I would kill for that smell. And I always take something to eat on the beach. Now, I wouldn't say that they shouldn't get married, but can you pick this up because I'll ruin my wiring? I got this great big thing here. So, kinesthetic. Oh, darn, I knew I was going to do that. Accidents happen. Oh, well. It's dark. Peggy's going to sue me. I got to do it. I need a help worker. And what do audio people say? Oh, I love to hear the waves crashing and smashing and the gulls way off in the distance. And the voices and the wind. And Dr. Ellsworth, every now and then you'll have a really great big wave and then most of the others are quiet and small. And audio, they will lead the music. They will be the singers. They play things and they fall in love with someone's voice over the phone. She had a most mellow voice. Yeah, you ought to hear her screech. Peggy would never screech. Everybody screeches. And then the visual and the kinesthetic. And if you then say to a kinesthetic person, I love Jean because, what will come out of a person's mouth who's kinesthetic? I love her because she just fits just right. She smells good. She tastes good. You guys play licky face? Yes. She just fits when we hug. She tastes, smells. Whoa. That's it. Audio. She's mellow. Her voice, blah, blah, blah. Visual. She's looking mighty good. And his wife gets fat, he's going to have trouble, right? Audio, visual. So you have that sort of sameness. You have outdoor, indoor. That's very important. You have active versus passive or sedentary. How many of you know this word, sedentary? Sit on your rear end. Sedentary. Couch potato. Active, they're always going. Right? And so there's so many ways to be alike or disalike. And those are some of them. Now, so Maslow said, you've got to have similarity, and that was the third prerequisite. Be in your real self. See that the two real selves are visible and you know what they're like, and the negatives, what you are and what you are not, because you can define better something if you know what it is not. Lots of patients say, well, I don't know what it is. And I'll say, well, Liz, do you know what it's not? Yeah. Is it this? No. Is it this? No. Is it that? No. Is it this? No. How do they do that? Every time you ask them if it's that, they compare it with a subconscious model of what they know it is. And no, it's not that. So if you know what it's not, subconsciously, you know what it is. You just need to dig a little deeper. So knowing the opposite will help establish the real self. And then the similarity. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, but the more the better. And we're going to go through a similarities test that we often give to people. How many of you have ever seen our little similarities test? Oh, Peggy, you ready for another trip? Where do you go to do this? Oftentimes. Do you need any helpers? This is on both sides. This is not in our book, so yeah. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But one good way to test similarity for his 3 prerequisites would be to finish 10 sentences. One of my favorite things to do is. So be sure if you're falling in love or would like to see what your partner's like, or a friend, you finish some sentences. One of my favorite things to do is. And then you might want to also add, would anybody like to help me with this? Anybody? I hate to make people. Oh. You'll do it? Sure. Stand up, please. Okay, she's going to finish this sentence. One of my favorite things to do is.
Look at the lake when the sun sets.
You got that one? Another thing I love to do is.
Go for walks.
Another thing I love to do is. Somebody write these things down.
Listen to good music.
Listen to good music, and I also love to.
Look at the stars.
Look at the stars, and I love to.
When is it your turn?
You got to do. I'm the teacher.
I'm running out of things.
You can't.
I
do 10
love to ride in my car with the top down.
Whoa. Yes. Now finish this sentence. Watch this. If I had all the money in the world, I'd spend my day. Did you see her? If we're doing the 3 questions, she'd say, in my chest. Okay. I had all the money in the world, I'd spend my day.
Doing charity work.
Doing charity work. I love charity work because, what was that? Finish sentence.
I love serving people.
I like to help people. And do you like to be with people?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, people person. And what else would you do? You'd have tons of money. You wouldn't have to. I travel. I like to travel because?
I like to see new places and see new people.
See that? See that? You got that down? Someone taking these down? And anything else I would like to do if I was very rich? I don't have to go to work. I would spend my time probably
Helping others.
helping others. Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Did you get those down? Did you try and get those? Okay. Now, well, who else wants to do it? Okay. Ron, can you write these down? Okay. One of my favorite things to do is
Laugh.
and I also love to
Pray.
and I also love to
Read.
and I like to
Exercise.
I like to
Talk to people.
and I love to
Chill out.
chill out and I like to
I said read.
read,
Write.
and I like to
exercise.
exercise.
Said that
And
already.
if I had all the money in the world, I would spend my day
Laughing.
laughing and
Looking at the money and thinking I have a lot of money.
after you got over that, what would you do?
Find a way to use the money.
And what way would that be?
I don't know. Let me think.
Yeah, what would you say if you didn't know?
With the girl.
With a girl, you'd like to have a girl. Okay.
Yeah.
And what things would you like to do with your girl?
Cook and do chores and talk and whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Thank you very much. Okay, now, would these two go together if they were the same age? No, because what do you have? You have some things that are similar. They like people. See that? So get to know what? Well, did you write them down? Yeah. She likes people. She likes to serve people and travel and stuff. Okay, you didn't say that. Well, you're only what, 17, 18? 21. Sorry. You'll say thank you in 10 years. I got it. Yes. Yeah.
But as you get older,
Yeah.
you have experiences, whether you go to school, work, whatever, your differences of what you want or what you like changes.
Yeah.
So how do you change and still be compatible if that other person changes a different way? I mean, I used to be really outdoorsy too. I mean, I still am.
Yeah.
But I love to sit down and read a book sometimes when I have time
Yeah.
for myself.
This is real tricky, similarity. And so you'll want to read his book because there's similarity of internals and similarity of externals. And as you do get older, and that was her question, what happens when you get older and you get more and more different? And that's why you have to have some really big basic things like spirituality, loving children, wanting to be at home, etc. The book, Psychology of Romantic Love by Nathaniel Branden. Okay, so similarity is better than complete difference. If you have a person that doesn't like people, doesn't like to travel, doesn't like outdoors, doesn't like some of the really big things in your life, you're going to have trouble. And I always say, think of marriage as a permanent roommate. Yeah, because that's what you got. Permanent roommate.
What about that old saying that the saying is opposites attract?
Okay. She must have read my book. Opposites attract. And in chapter 8, there's a wonderful picture. Her question is, what about the saying, opposites attract? And then the opposite of that would be what? Similar people push each other away. So in the book, in chapter 8, you'll see some circles, right reasons to like and wrong reasons to like, right reasons to dislike and wrong reasons to dislike. Has anyone read chapter 8? Okay. What page is that? 145. Thank you, Alan. And I will draw some of these pictures for you. Here's a person. Now remember, we draw real self like that, pain layer like that, and then the outside cover can be many different ways, but this guy is a male chauvinist pig, MCP. And these two outside layers are the negative self styles. The negative self has pain underneath, and then this dominant stuff, and that is to compensate for the pain. This guy is going to look for a girl with the same size of real self. Notice his real self is about 30%, and his negative is about 70%. Likes attract. That's my statement. And they especially attract on the inside. 30% real selves will marry 30% real selves. And then there'll be the pain layer, same size. And then there'll be the outside. See why I drew it like that? Because she's a DDD, dumb door doormat. And these two on the outside are going to fit together. And that is a symbiotic relationship. Now we need a little break. And when you come back, we'll continue this intriguing story.